What's up, everybody? Trayvon here with Scent Talk TV, and today I will be doing a full review on the fragrance from the house of Lattafa. Now, this fragrance has been getting a lot of love and a lot of hate all over the place. Some of you guys have stated in the comment section below on one of my first impression videos of this particular fragrance that you got some longevity issues. Some of you guys might have gotten a bad batch. Some of you guys said that you don't understand what the hype is all about. Some of you love the fragrance. But to me, you will find out my opinion on it in a few minutes. But I'm talking too much. Without further ado, let's just jump into it. Okay, in that fragrance from the house of Lattafa, we have Asad Elixir. This fragrance cost me $35 and some change. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, full presentation of the box time. You got the name of the house right here. You got the name of the fragrance right there, Elixir at the top. You got the size and concentration of the bottle of the fragrance at the top. You got the logo of Lattafa right there. You got a little design right here of the box right there. Oh, it's like right here in the corner. You can see the lion right there. That's pretty dope. Little information right there. Not too much going on right there. Got the holographic sticker right there with the QR code. You got the name of the fragrance at the top, and then you got some ingredients going from the top all the way down to the bottom of the box in different languages, I believe. Nothing too shabby going on at the bottom of the box. Just got the barcode and, you know, the website and all that great stuff there. Okay, let's get into the presentation of this bottle. You know, if you are familiar with the other flankers, the original and the other flankers of this particular line, it looks just like this, but this is just an all black finish. You know, still a gorgeous looking bottle, of course, but you know, name of the fragrance right here, Elixir, name of the house right there, you know what I'm saying? You got the name of the house right here at the top of the bottle, and it is a snug fit of the top. There we go. Okay, inside the cap, there is absolutely nothing. And as well as the atomizer, you know, nothing really going on with the atomizer. It's not a leaky atomizer, which is a very, very good thing. And also the size and concentration at the sticker right here at the bottom, as well as the name of the house right there. Well, the name of the fragrance right there. And a QR code, excuse me. Let's check out this atomizer though. It's average, still good, but average. Nothing to write home about. Okay, right off the top, what do I get out of this fragrance? This fragrance, now, like I said in the beginning of the video about, you know, sharing my opinion if I love or hate this fragrance is gorgeous to me. Some or most of you might disagree, but this fragrance is gorgeous. Is it familiar to something that I own already? Kinda, but still it goes in its own direction, going down its own path, you know, uniquely from the familiarity to the fragrance that I have inside my head that I can't think up top right now that is reminiscent to this one. But I'm talking too much. This fragrance is a balsamic, just fresh, but not too much of a fresh type of a scent. It has a very subtle, you know, not too loud type of a freshness, but it's there in the opening at least, but it is swallowed up with a lot of sweetness, a lot of balsamic factors it is swallowed up by. And in the opening, it's just beautiful. From the top all the way to the mid and the dry down is just beautiful. But let's just get into the notes. Okay, in the top, we got some pink pepper, saffron, and some grapefruit. Now that little subtle freshness that I was speaking about comes from that pink pepper. You know, it has like a fresh, you know, soft spice to it, kind of herbaceous as well, like green, little slight masculine floral type of a spice to it in the opening. But it's really swallowed up with all that balsamic sweetness that later on like peeps its head up in the fragrance, later on in this fragrance. You know, the saffron is one of my best parts. You know, you get like this sweet, like leathery, masculine floral from that saffron, which is so beautifully well put in the opening. The grapefruit is kind of like a dark citrusy, kind of like bitter type of accord. that is really not too noticeable. Mainly what I get out of this is a saffron bomb, at least in the opening. But once you get into the mid notes, you get tobacco, vanilla, and cedarwood. Tobacco is sweet, warm, and cozy. A little bit of herbaceousness going on with inside of that tobacco. And the vanilla is sweet, warm, and cozy. The cedarwood is kind of soft, not too, dominant, but it's kind of like a soft little woody accord when it comes to like the balsamic sweetness in those two accords in the mid notes. One of my favorite things about this fragrance is that saffron, and it carries throughout the mid into the dry down. That's one of my favorite parts of this fragrance. If you are not a fan of saffron, you're probably not gonna like this at all. But to me, this is right up my alley. But anyway, I'm talking too much. Once you get to the base, fragrances, you got some light amber, patchouli, and cashmere. Now, the fragrances is what really gives off that balsamic type of a touch. Not too really, well, yeah, it is noticeable because with that saffron and that frankincense is what I get to my nose dominantly. The amber there is like what warms it up even more, makes it a little bit more cozier. And the patchouli is like green, dark, and masculine, kind of like a sweet touch to it as well, giving it a little bit more sweetness. The cashmere is like a dry, musky, animatic touch to it that's not too noticeable in a dry down at least. Mainly, overall, I just get like this saffron bomb that is very, very balsamic and sweet and cozy. When it comes to like a comparison to the original, it actually shares a couple of components to the original. It is doing its own thing and it's completely different. But in terms of that sweet balsamic type of a touch that this gives off, it's kind of reminiscent to the original as well when it comes to those accords. At least to me. To my nose, that's what I get. And to be quite honest with you guys, I thought at first spray I was not gonna like this. I also thought it was going to be redundant. I also thought that it was not going to just touch bases to my likings at all. But to my surprise, this is really, really good, especially for the price. If you can find this for the same price that I got it for, if not cheaper, it's a steal, man. But you got to be a fan of the accords that I've listed, that I got out of it, at least to me, to my nose. If you are a fan of like saffron and stuff like that, this would be the one for you, like I said before. But if not, pass on it. Okay, when it comes to the performance was not too bad, and it wasn't a beast either, if you overspray. It is cold. It is very, very cold in St. Louis now. That little warm little phase that we had is completely gone. And we are met with this bitter, just dense, frigid cold out of nowhere, like below zero temperatures. And when it comes to wearing this and those temperatures, is not too much of a beast cutting through that cold at all. I will say this is more suited for like, fall and wintertime when it's like not too cold. It doesn't push too well in a cold, at that type of intensity of cold. It doesn't push that well throughout that cold. It doesn't cut through it that much. But you still get an average push of projection in the cold with this one. Projection was good within an hour, set close to the skin, giving me the total of 5 to 6 hours longevity, which is cool. With this one, it's pretty nice. If it was like a little, like I'll say, like in the 50s, like 45 degrees, 50 degrees, this will probably push out a lot more and perform a little bit better. But, by it being so cold here, it really didn't push out the way that I would expect or hope for it to be. Just an average push, which is cool. I take it for what it is. But the total longevity was 5 to 6 hours with an hour of projection, a nice little steady push of projection for an hour. It didn't really become a skin scent until like the 3rd or 4th hour mark, but for what I got out of it within the climate that I tested it in, it didn't do too bad. Like always, if you want a better push in projection, if you want more longevity out of this, overspray a little bit, and it also matters like, how cold and how warm it is outside in terms of, the type of time that you're gonna have with the projection and performance out of this. But to me, this is good. For it being like below 0 and it pushed out averagely like that, it's not bad. Okay, when it comes to the age groups, this is a little bit more middle age on up. You don't have that playful, like immature sensuality, vibe that you get from like sweet bubblegummy type of a sense. This is not it. This is a little bit more on the mature side. It does have like mature notes of like patchouli, the cashmere and stuff like that tobacco. But if you're a younger gentleman and you love this and appreciate this for what it is, go ahead and rock it. It does not matter. But my specific opinion when it comes to the age bracket with this is going to be middle age on up with this one. Okay, seasons to wear this, I would say fall and springtime. I would say wintertime as well when it's not too cold. But, I feel like, this will perform best like when it's not too cold, not too warm, right in between like fall and springtime. So in my opinion, fall and springtime, and maybe wintertime when it's not too cold like it is outside right now. Okay, my final thoughts on Lattafa Asad Elixir. Yo, try it out for yourself, man. Just make sure that you keep your receipt. If you go to Burlington, Ross, or wherever it is that you find this, keep the receipt and return it. And depending on what store it is, make sure you look at the return policy to make sure that you can return open boxed fragrances, because if you don't check it and you try to return it and they say no, you're screwed and you're stuck with this. And to me, man, this is not a bad fragrance. To me, this is a gorgeous fragrance, but to me, okay, this is more suited and it fits me. Try it out for yourself. You might like it. If you don't like it, it's not your cup of tea. It is what it is. It is as simple as that. However, should you buy from the house of Lattafa Asad Elixir? Yes, you should if you are a fan of sweet, warm, balsamic, a little bit of a fresh little touch to it, from like the pink pepper and stuff like that, and a saffron bomb in the opening. If you like that opening that I just mentioned with that saffron, this is the runner-up for you. If not, pass on it. But I still highly suggest that you try it out for yourself and see how it resonates with you. But it definitely resonates with me, and it has a special spot in my collection. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, this wonderful, wonderful fragrance. You can love it and you can hate it, but try it out for yourself and tell me what you think. So that's all that I have for Scent Talk TV, ladies and gentlemen. And as always, you know what to do. You gotta like, comment, share, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. And I will see you guys in the next video. Be safe out there and be blessed and have a good one. I'm out of here. Peace. Well, peace.